Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. Another rifle just come in today, and this is a nice little one to give a first impressions on. Hopefully I'm going to get to go shoot this tomorrow. I reviewed the sort of sister rifle to this a couple of months ago. This is a CZ600. Now the one I had a couple of months ago was the MDT model, but that was the grey, tungsten grey one, and it had the sort of AR-15 style back end on it, whereas this one is the deep bronze, and it's got the full MDT SRS skeleton stock on the back end, which you can see here. So let's just have a quick look. This comes from Sportsman Gun Centre, who are the importer distributor for CZ, or CZ if you're an American. Comes in this transit case. It's got plenty of padding on it, plenty of stiffness, and it's got nice locking buckles on it. We've got a CZ sticker, we've got a user manual, we've got a bolt decocking tool and a Torx wrench there, and then in here we have an AICS magazine. Well, let's leave that one out. And in here we've got the bolt. It's the 6-lug bolt from the 600 Action. Just pop that out of there. Move this box out of the way. Well, let's start with the magazine since it's loose. This is a steel AICS magazine. It's an MDT one, but it's also got a proprietary follower in there, so it gives you a little bit better feed into the chamber from the system, especially with some of the more unusual cartridges. This rifle is actually made in 6mm Creedmoor, 6.5 Creedmoor and 308. The one that's been sent to me is the 308, which is probably the easiest one of them all to feed, but I think that proprietary follower will be very handy on this 6mm Creedmoor particularly, where you've got a little bit less bullet diameter to feed it in. Let's turn that around. Now, CZ600 is a new Action. It came out about 3 years ago. I went over to check and saw it, and this one is it's a semi-controlled feed bolt. It's a 6-lug bolt, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 60-degree lift on it. But the semi-controlled feed means you get an absolutely super smooth feed into the chamber with a little bit less force required when it comes to closing, because you've no plunger ejector to compress the spring on. Now this one actually has like a little ejector pin there. Can you see that on the ceiling camera? That pops out there. So as the bolt comes back, that pops out, flicks the brass out, and it's obviously hinging there on that extractor claw. Put this in the rifle. I am going to save all the details on this gun for the full review, and I'm just going to talk about some of the interesting features that we've got to see straight away. Right, this one's 308, it's a 24-inch barrel, which is 610mm. This is a 1 in 10 twist rate, 4-groove barrel, heavy profile on it, and that is going to be ideal for sort of 308 bullets, well up to 175 grains, a little bit beyond, to be honest. It's got a muzzle brake on it. We've got a 6-port brake there, last reported. That is an index brake by the looks of it, and that will fit into position and give a lot of recoil reduction at the expense of a bit more noise. Moving back onto the Action, it's got a 0 inclination Picatinny rail on it. That makes scope mounting simple. This is probably more of a PRS rifle, precision rifle, than maybe a long range rifle. You can always add extra inclination in the mounts if you feel you do need so. Other things about the Action itself. Right, so 6-lug bolt, 60-degree lift, they are super smooth. I'll put the link on this video because I have done a lot of CZ600 reviews. There are many common features and factors about them. It's an Action I am very confident in, very happy with. And this one, aluminium chassis, steel Action, steel barrel, obviously steel barrel. This one's guaranteed 0.75 MOA. So it's got that little bit extra sort of precision feel about it straight from the box. None of the other CZ rifles have failed to meet their precision guarantee for me, so I'm very happy about that. One of the things that differs about this is that the regular 600's got a plunger sort of safety mechanism where you push it down at the tang here to go fire, and then you push it up from underneath, it clicks back up, and that goes safe. This one has got a wing safety here, or a lever safety, thumb lever safety there, and that is actually on both sides. So that is a difference in the, basically because of the chassis and the architecture of the rifle itself. While we're in this area, right, now I'm still going to leave the stock till last, but let's look at some of the features. We've got there an ambidextrous magazine release, so you can just reach that with a tippy finger, that will pop out. AICS magazines are simple to buy, you can get lots of them. And we've also got a reach adjustable pistol grip there. That's a very vertical pistol grip, but you can slacken off this bolt here and move it backwards and forwards a little bit so you get the actual reach to the trigger blade you want. Now that trigger, discussing it, is a single stage trigger. And on the underside, you might be able to see that on the ceiling camera, we've got a little Allen screw there, and that's got 4 stages, click, 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 click. So you can detent between the stages to give you different trigger weights. Off the top of my head, it goes from about 600 to 1300 grams. But again, that'll be one for the full review. Right, is that everything about the action really I can talk about now? I think this is, let's talk about the chassis. Okay, MDT are probably the biggest chassis company in the world now. They make their chassis for a lot of rifles, and rightly so. I actually reviewed one of the very first chassis ever produced about, I don't know, 10, 12, 13 years ago, and it was a really interesting thing there. It's very innovative, very kind of unusual, and now we take chassis for granted. But here we go. So this is obviously aluminium. It's got a deep bronze Cerakote colour on it. You can see we've got oodles of M-lock capability on the left, on the right, and on the underside, and we've also got full-length Arca rail on the underside too. It is unashamedly, undoubtedly, fully free-floating, that very stiff barrel, and that is a stiff fore-end. So I will be shooting this from a bipod. I've got a tier 1 bipod that will fit that beautifully, but I can also shoot it from tripod as well. It's got a barricade stop here at the front of the receiver, or the front of the stock, just in front of the magazine, so that is pretty much de rigueur for a precision rifle, and the balance point is currently, it's about where my hand is there, but that's going to depend on your scope, etc, etc. Various facets here. We've got additional fixings here if you want to put an extra ammunition holder on the side. As we said before, the grip will move, but here is the back end of the SRS adjustable stock. Now this stock has got, it's got adjustable length of pull on it, and that has got a 30mm adjustment on that length of pull there. It's also got vertical adjustment on the recoil pad position, so let's just put it somewhere probably where we're going to be about shooting it. I'll set this up when I do the full review. And it's also got an adjustable cheek piece. Now these little fasteners here are finger adjustable. They just need a little bit of manipulation on there to get those to just slacken off, and then that will give me cheek piece elevation, so I can lift that up on that thumb screw, and it's a little bit slow, but once you get it set up it's where you're going to need it to be. And it looks like there might also be some, yeah, there's also some lateral adjustment on that cheek piece there, which is excellent, because so many cheek pieces are very big and bulky, and they kind of make you have to push your jaw out the way, and you've got to roll your head over the stock, and I don't like that. My eyes are level because I want them level, and I'd rather stay level when I'm actually on the gun too. So this is all for the full review. That will wind all the way up there, and then you can just lock it back in position with those thumb screws like that. Lock that, lock that, lock that, and there we go. So now we've got the rifle as we may need it. So I'll be putting a big scope on this. The guarantees with precision ammunition, it's match ammunition standard, so I've got some Hornady 168 grain ELD-M ammo I'll be using through it. So we'll do the chronograph testing, we'll shoot some targets, get some idea of a handling capability of it, put it on the bipod, shoot it mostly from the bipod for the ultimate precision. Then I'll maybe move to the sticks, move to the tripod to give me a little bit more versatility and real world usage, and maybe shoot it off a couple of barricades or something like that. Obviously this is not my rifle, it does have to go back in good condition, so I have to be a little bit careful with it, but we shall see. Just another thing I've noticed here, on the underside of the butt there is another M-lock slot there, so you could use that with a monopod, and there are also QD sling anchor points on the butt there and on the fore end here. So that will be a nice rifle to shoot. The tungsten version was very nice with the grey Cerakote on it, but this has got a little bit more adjustability, a little bit more high-end kind of buttstock on it. The chassis forward of that is the same, but I've also got the muzzle brake on this one too. So there's a few more features to review and acclimatise to beyond the standard tungsten version I had before. Right, well, if you like that little first impressions of this rifle, Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell, and you can keep track of my regular uploads, because the full review on this will be done probably within about a week. So thank you for watching. Bye for now.